computer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're middle of chapter 15 of Tanya. I'm just going to recap.
Tesvav or what?
Tesvav. Yeah, but it's from the first part of Tanya, L'Kutei
Oh.
Amarim. There's 5 parts of Tanya, so the first part, chapter 15, Tesvav.
Let's see if I can.
Tesvav.
Oh, it's just mamash in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We are going to start from over here. Velachin. We're going to start from Velachin. Okay, if you for page Chaf Aleph, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 lines. Okay, here we go. Okay. So what are we speaking about? 4.5 lines from the top of page Chaf Aleph. That's where we're going to be Tesvav.
Oh.
If it's the same Tanya. Yeah. Okay. So what are we talking about? We are all aspiring to be a Beinani. A Beinani is someone who is in between a tzaddik and a rasha. What does it mean in between a tzaddik and a rasha? Not that they have 50% mitzvahs and 50% averos, which is what we would think. But what it means to be in between a tzaddik and a rasha is that a tzaddik is perfect on the inside and on the outside. The outside is thought, speech, and action, and the inside are the powers of the soul, your character, and your powers. So a tzaddik is perfect on the inside and on the outside. A rasha is not. A rasha is not perfect on the outside, and he's rotten on the inside as well. And a Beinani is in between, meaning that he is perfect on the outside like a tzaddik in thought, speech, and action. And the inside, he is struggling like a rasha. That's what it means, a Beinani, and that's what we're aspiring to be. That our insides, yes, we struggle every minute of every day, but on the outside, every action and every time we speak and the thoughts that we choose to dwell on, that those should all be appropriate and aligned with the will of Hashem. Now we're starting a new concept. That was chapters 1 to 14. Chapter 15, within this level of a Beinani, within this level of what we're aspiring to be, there are 2 different types of Beinani. One is considered to be serving, and one is considered to be not serving. And the $1 million question is, you're a Beinani, you're perfect on your thought, speech, and action. How could you be not serving? What does this mean? Because the Gemara says you have to know the difference between a tzaddik and a rasha, and between someone who is serving God and someone who is not serving God. And in Torah, nothing is repeated. So serving God and not serving God is not saying tzaddik and rasha. It has to be something else. So one who is serving, one who is not serving are 2 levels within the Beinani, 2 levels within a person. Yes, he's struggling on the inside, but he every minute he chooses in thought, speech, and action to be perfect on the outside, and yet he's considered not serving. How could this be? So that's what we're going to discuss today. We started discussing, and within the person who's within the Beinani category, the type of Beinani who is not serving, within that category, there are 2 categories. So one type of person who is not serving is someone who, by nature, he just doesn't have the same pleasure, doesn't take pleasure in life the way everyone else does. He's a cold fish. He's a person who's a bookworm who just likes to spend his time in the library. He's not a social butterfly. He's very happy to do what Hashem wants. It's his nature. It's easy for him. It takes no effort. And just for an example, if Chas V'Shalom, a person is in the hospital, how is it that the hospital gets away with giving such bad food? In a hospital, you should have extra good food because people are in such a difficult situation. But the thing is, when a person is in the hospital, because their body is depleted, they don't take pleasure They don't take pleasure in in food and in things like that, like they normally would. So this is just an example to show that there could be times that a person just doesn't have the regular pleasure that everyone else enjoys. When a person is nauseous in the hospital, they can't appreciate a $200 meal from the restaurant. It's just they're just it doesn't talk to them in the same way. So if it's no effort for you, if it's no effort, then there's no growth. Then it's not considered serving. So a person could be perfect in thought, speech, and action, but if it's no effort, for example, if God forbid a person is in the ICU, and usually this person is a grouch and is a very difficult person, but in the ICU, when they're laying unconscious in the ICU, they're perfect. They're perfect. But you're not going to give them an award for being perfect when they're in that kind of situation. Yes, you're not saying anything bad or doing anything bad, but you're not yourself. You're not yourself. So it's not just about doing the right thing, saying the right thing, thinking the right thing. It's about putting in effort. And if it's just natural for you, and if you're just, if it's natural for you, then it's not considered to be serving Hashem. For example, no one's going to say, I didn't murder today, so therefore I'm serving Hashem. Because to murder is obviously not something in our radar. There's a mitzvah in the Torah that you're not allowed to eat blood. If I didn't eat blood today, it's not considered that I'm serving Hashem, because to eat blood to me is disgusting. It's not something that I would take pleasure in. Years ago, I went to Shanghai, China for a few weeks to take over the Chabad rabbi, because his wife was expecting a baby. And in the taxis, the taxi drivers would have tea with live worms swimming around in the bottom of the tea, and that was a delicacy for them. For me, it's not a delicacy; it's the most disgusting, abhorrent thing. So for me to not partake in that or not kosher food, it's not a struggle. So again, no effort, no growth. It's not considered to be serving. So that's one type of person who is considered to be not serving.
Like no pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. Exactly. Okay. Now, what's the problem? What's the problem with not serving? A regular person who does have a struggle, who does face a struggle, who is fighting. When you're fighting, you need some kind of you need a tool to win. What is the Benini's tool, the one who is serving? What's his tool to make the right decision? He has a temptation and he shuts it down. With what power? Yiras Hashem. How did he get to Yiras Hashem? The way he got to Yiras Hashem is because he contemplates on the greatness of Hashem. The fact that we have a brain, that helps us, that when we have an impulse for something, that we're able to curb our impulses. If I love chocolate cake and I see chocolate cake, what's going to stop me from taking 3 pieces of chocolate cake and making that my supper? Because my mind tells me it's not healthy. It's not healthy to just do whatever I want, right? If there's a red light and I'm in a rush, I don't just go if I don't see cars, because my seichel tells me, no, it's a red light. You wait. So here, to do the right thing, I need seichel, I need brains, and I need to contemplate the greatness of Hashem. And when I do so, this helps me feel love for Hashem, fear for Hashem, a desire to connect to Hashem, and then I will hold myself back from doing the savera or to do the positive mitzvah. An example of what I could think about is something that we say in davening every single day. Kadosh, 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 Kadosh. What does Kadosh mean?
Separate.
Excellent. Okay. So usually we say Kadosh means holy. However, the real translation of Kadosh is separated. Well, the difference between something ordinary and something holy is that something holy is separated and designated. So Hashem is separated, separated, separated. Because we see this word Kadosh used in other places, and it doesn't necessarily mean holy. For example, if a person is a farmer, and by mistake he didn't realize two different types of fruit start growing together, which is called kilayim, which is forbidden to eat a mixture of two fruits together. So the fruit that grows, it is called kodesh. It's called kodesh. It's not holy, but it's separated. It's separated from the rest of the fruit because you can't eat it. Another example is marriage. We say kiddushin. The man when he gives her a ring, and it's called kiddushin, and then she becomes, we say, sanctified to him. But so what does it mean? Before she wasn't holy, and now all of a sudden she became holy? All Jewish people are holy. What it means is, by a marriage, kiddushin, kadesh means that you are separated from everyone else to be married to this individual. So kiddushin, kadesh means separated. So what's the contemplation? What's contemplation? Kadesh, kadesh, kadesh. Number one, Hashem is way beyond us, way separated from us. In what way? We are a creation, and Hashem is the creator. There's no comparison between a creation and a creator. We exist because Hashem gives us life. Hashem, even if there was no creation, Hashem would still exist. Hashem created all of us. So wow, Hashem, you're like way above. And then we say Kadesh again. What's the second Kadesh? The concept of a creator and a creation is something that I can understand. But Hashem, you're way above anything that I can understand. So that's why we say Kadesh again. You're way above anything that I can understand. Then we say Kadesh a third time. There are things Hashem, you're so great that there are things that I don't even know that I can't understand, and therefore I say Kadesh again. By the time I finish Kadesh, 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 and I realize how great Hashem is. Hashem created this entire universe. Like we said a few times ago, he asked the question, are there more stars or are there more grains of sand? And we said that for every grain of sand, there are 10,000 stars. So could you imagine how, we can't even imagine that Hashem's greatness. And now I have a choice. Either I could be connected to and aligned with this incredible God who's Kadesh, 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 or I could fall for this temptation. This temptation, which is so temporary and transient. So of course, what am I going to do? Of course, I'd rather be aligned with Hashem than this little temptation or the big temptation. So this is the process that the Beinoni goes through, this process of using his seichel to contemplate the greatness of Hashem to make the right decision. But if you have a person who's not fighting, there's no fight. His Yetzer Hara, it is not bothering him to eat blood or to murder someone today. Yetzer Hara is not bothering him. There's no fight. If there's no fight, and there's no need for the contemplation, right? There's no need for it. There's no need to think about the goodness of Hashem, and then there's no growth. There's no fight. There's no fight. There's no connection. There's no growth, and therefore is considered to be not serving.
But what does it mean that Yetzer Hara is not challenging?
So, like we said, blood or murder. There are things. You know what I'm saying? There are some things. Yeah,
but there are other things that are, because everyone has
right.
Nefesh Bahamis inside of them. Everyone has the challenge. What does it mean that someone doesn't have that?
Right. So, we are, in order to bring the point, we're painting two very, we're painting two, a very we're making a very stark distinction between serving and not serving. And it seems like, oh, who could be in that category that they're such a cold fish that they don't have any temptation? For example, this rabbi was walking on the boardwalk and he sees another religious guy sitting on the beach on a beach chair. So he says to him, I don't think it's appropriate for you to sit on the beach. There are people here that are not dressed appropriately. So he says to the rabbi, he says, I could sit here on the beach chair for a bunch of hours. Seeing people not dressed modestly, that won't affect me. So this
There's got to be other things that will affect.
True.
Right.
Right. So I'm saying if it doesn't affect you, if Itaka doesn't affect you, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. There's some people that the way they're wired, the way they're created is that they don't. They're not the one that's running to parties and to have a good time. It doesn't interest them. They'd rather be home than go on a vacation. Some people are just boring.
So the point of this basically is just to show us that we have to be serving connected.
Correct.
It's not really a person out there.
Right. So I'm saying, is there truly a personality? They say this person fits 100% in this category. True. So we're a combination. So in some areas of our life, these things, it's not a struggle for me. Some things are just not a struggle. And then there's other areas of my life where I am serving, where it is a struggle. But painting this picture
is just showing us the benefit.
Is to show us benefit of struggle. And the point is to teach us this lesson. So yes, it seems like, oh, who could be in that category? Like, I don't know anyone who's like that. Okay, so a tzaddik is a whole different playing field. And within a tzaddik, there are two different types of a tzaddik. Most people, in order to be a tzaddik, they're first a benini, and then they are gifted with to become a tzaddik. But you can't become a tzaddik without effort.
But once they become a tzaddik, they're not struggling anymore.
Once they're tzaddik, they're not struggling anymore. But the whole tzaddik thing is a completely different playing field.
So are they considered to be serving once they're not struggling?
So now they're a servant. A tzaddik is a servant. Okay. There's a servant, that's a tzaddik, and there's not serving, yes serving, and a servant. A tzaddik reaches a servant, and then there's always growth. Even a tzaddik grows, but it's on a different playing field. But that's a great question.
Thank you so much to get to that.
Not always. Yeah. There's also a category where they're born that way.
Right. Yeah. So it could be that tzaddik as a tzaddik neshama. It does say barasa tzaddikim.
It's totally different. It's not the struggle. They're serving
Klal Yisrael.
When they are gifted, you said at a certain point they're gifted. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends them now a new soul, or
yes.
And how does that happen? Hashem decides that they came to this level of perfection, and now I'm giving you a gift.
Yes, Hashem could attach a tzaddik soul to the Beinani, and then they live a tzaddik life. Do they know? It's a very good question. It's a very good question. Do they know? You see, the thing is with a tzaddik, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, he was obviously a tzaddik. And on his deathbed, he said, I don't know which path they're going to lead me on. What was he saying? He was a tzaddik. He had so many students. Of course he's going to go to Gan Eden. What's the question? But he was so busy serving Hashem that he never took the 5 minutes to think, am I a tzaddik? Am I not a tzaddik? Am I a Beinani? People that are on that level don't even take the time to figure out what level they're truly on. They're so busy serving, And there are cases. There was and this is in the first chapter of Tanya. There was a great sage. His name was Rabbah, and he said about himself, mistakenly said about himself, for example, I'm a Beinani. So his nephew was a student, said, how could you say about yourself that you're a Beinani? If you're a Beinani, then what that puts us to shame. Then what of course, then we're going to be a Russia. Why are you saying, and he could, and it wasn't out of humility, because there's a level of a Beinani, where he's so busy learning Torah and davening, that when he's learning and davening, his Yetzer Hara is sleeping. So if your Yetzer Hara is sleeping, then you're a Beinoni. If your Yetzer Hara is in prison and conquered, then you're a tzaddik. But he's so busy learning that he doesn't know, is my Yetzer Hara not bothering me because it's sleeping? Or is it not bothering me because it's locked up in jail? So sometimes the best answer is sometimes they will know, sometimes they will know. They'll know they're a tzaddik if Hashem gives them a mission, right? Or if it's a Navi, Hashem tells them what to do, or whatever it is. And sometimes they're too busy serving to figure out who they really are.
Once they put the Yetzer Hara to sleep, so aren't they then not really serving Hashem?
So that's an excellent question. And the answer is, if the Yetzer Hara is sleeping, okay, so first of all, the difference between Yetzer Hara being sleeping and the Yetzer Hara being locked in prison is that if the Yetzer Hara is sleeping, it could wake up at any time. You always have to be vigilant. It could wake up at any time. If it's locked up in jail, then you could breathe easier. And if it's locked in jail, you're a tzaddik. And if you transform it, then you're even a higher level of a tzaddik. There's two different types of tzaddik. The best is if you could transform the evil to good. But we're going to learn, hopefully, if we'll get to it today, or not, there's always needs to be movement and always needs to be growth. And if you're davening and learning 24/7 and therefore Yetzer Hara is sleeping, in order to be serving, you have to do more, or you have to do deeper. You have to learn Torah in a deeper way, or do something that takes effort. If there's no effort, then you're not serving. And this leads to the second type of person who's not serving. And that is someone who was serving. He worked so hard to serve, to be serving. For example, someone who's a Baal Tshuva. They worked so hard to keep kosher and Shabbos and Taras Mishpacha. They're working so hard. But eventually, they come to a place where it's not a struggle anymore. This person was struggling so hard to keep Shabbos. And eventually, after years and years, comes a day and he says, I love Shabbos. Now Shabbos is not a struggle. So the second type of person who is not serving is someone who was serving. He was climbing. He was struggling. He worked so hard. And he got to the top of the mountain and he says, okay, now I'm good. Now I could take a break. The second it's natural for you, the second it becomes your second nature, you're not serving. So if whether it be that I'm not putting in effort because it's my nature, I love to learn. It takes no effort for me. I enjoy it. I enjoy this mitzvah, or I don't have this struggle, or the Yetzer Hara is not tempting me. It's natural for me to be a goody. It's like the kid who in school, the kid in school, the brilliant kid who gets the straight A's, putting in no effort. They're just brilliant. There's no growth. Or the rich kid, the richest kid in the class. He has every gadget, the fancy shoes, the fancy backpack, and the fancy everything. He didn't do anything to achieve it. He's just there. He just was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. So if you're rich, or if you're smart, or if you're a goody, because that's your nature, then it's not serving. And if you're a goody and smart and rich because it's your second nature, because you worked really hard and you got there, and now it's your second nature, still not serving. Once you climb and you got to the top of the mountain, you have to find a new mountain to climb. Because otherwise you go back into the category of not serving. It's a tall order. Yeah. The Rebbe never let anyone retire. The Rebbe was never satisfied. Whatever you do, you have to do more.
He wanted everyone to be leaders.
100%.
What's the terminology in the Tanya of serving and not serving?
So let's read it inside. Okay, so we're up to
Said with the thing.
Yeah. V'lachin. So we're going back a little bit. We're going to read inside what we spoke about what we spoke about orally. Okay, v'lachin. We're talking about an individual who is not serving. Why? Because his yetzer hara is not bothering him, tempting him. V'lachin, and therefore, ein tzarich lizbainen kol kach b'gdulas Hashem. He doesn't have to contemplate so much on the greatness of Hashem. Lahaylid mibinasai ruach das v'yiras Hashem b'maychai, to create a spirit of knowledge of Hashem and fear of Hashem in his mind, v'yishamer shaloi lavra mitzvos lo yaseh, in order to guard himself from transgressing any prohibitive commandments. V'avas Hashem b'libay, he also doesn't have to create a love for Hashem in his heart. He doesn't need to use the tool that a regular Beinoni uses of using his mind and contemplating the greatness of Hashem in order to fight his temptation. And usually the Beinoni who does fight and does contemplate and creates love of Hashem and a fear of Hashem, for what purpose? L'dafka bay, to be connected to Hashem. Connection. The Beinoni makes a decision. I'm going to give up the temptation because I want connection with Hashem. You have to understand this concept of connection. Think about a couple that just got married versus a couple who's married for 40 years. The couple who just got married, yes, they give each other more gifts. And yes, they say, I love you, a lot more often. And the couples that are married for 40 years should also be doing that. But what's the couple that's married for 40 years? There's something called a connection. There's a connection, even without any words, even without the gifts and I love you, that has been created from all these years, that they just sense what the other person, needs or wants, etc. So this, what is it?
They don't sense what you need.
It's a one-way street.
Sometimes it sense what you're going to think or what you're going to say. No, some do. Some do. It sense what you're going to even say.
There's a deep connection. Sometimes that deep connection, okay, we'll talk about it more. Sometimes that deep connection is hidden, and then something happens to trigger it.
It's a connection.
Yeah.
Certain things have to be repeated for that.
Yeah. But no, everyone could agree that the connection between a couple who's married for many years is much stronger than a couple who's just on the outside. It's like amazing. I see him. It was just so sweet to see the new couple, and he's putting salad on her plate, and he's, it's really sweet how they, they're so whatever. It's very endearing to see them, but on the other hand, there's a deep connection. Deeper. Thank you. There's a deeper connection when when you've been married for that long, and this connection is what the Beinoni is what the Beinoni is seeking, a connection with Hashem, and which comes from his love and fear, which he created through contemplation, which this person who's not serving is not motivated to do because he doesn't need it. But the person who is not serving, what is pushing him to do the right thing? He doesn't have to go through the whole contemplation thing. What were you going to say? Okay, his love for Hashem, excellent. That is the correct answer. The answer is that this person who is not serving, all he has to do is to tap into something called a hidden love. And the hidden love is something that every Jewish person is born with. Again, it's natural to you. You were born with it. You didn't have to work hard to create it or achieve it. And all this Beinoni who is not serving has to do is tap into this hidden love. The hidden love is very, very close. It's hidden, but it's very close to the surface for him. And he's able to tap into it, and that will give him the motivation to do the right thing. So without too much effort, yes. For the rest of us we all have the hidden love, right? So what does it mean, a hidden love? We all have emotions, but not every emotion is felt and active at every minute, right? You all love everyone has people in their life who they love, but when they're at work, they could concentrate on their work without at that moment thinking about how much they love this person in their life. Yeah.
Okay, so like a question. So like, let's say Shabbos, like you said, right? We don't have a struggle daily to keep Shabbos. It's not a struggle for many of us, right? That like, should I, yes or no, be Mahal Shabbos, right?
Yeah.
On a moment to moment basis. So that maybe would put us into a purpose, into a place of saying, well, then therefore we're not serving Hashem by keeping Shabbos. But we're not struggling with it. We love it.
So we have to find
So if we
something.
could just find it. So either we could say, like, okay, let's find a struggle. Or if what you're saying now is all we have to do is tap into it and say, but I'm keeping Shabbos. It's not a struggle for me. And I'm keeping it because I love Hashem. Would that be enough?
So the tapping into the hidden love is not enough.
No.
Because it's natural. What we have to do when it comes to Shabbos is find an area that to do more, or to deepen our relationship with Hashem, or to do something that does take a little bit of sweat, so that we should always be serving. And we're going to see how important that is, and the value, because the more effort something takes, the more valuable it is.
Yes. Like what you were saying, when you reach a mountain, then you're not at the peak, you have to go higher. So you're saying about Shabbos, you were from birth. For you, Shabbos is easy, but there are different levels of keeping Shabbos. Like when you're hearing Kiddush, are you thinking Hashem made the world in 6 days, and it's a Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim, or you just making Kiddush because I want to eat and start the meal? Are you benching up 10 minutes early? Are you bringing in Shabbos early? Or are you just doing it in the last minute? There's so many different levels. So she's saying that like I'm there, so like it's like I'm not doing
right.
No, but you're saying you reach Shabbos, but you have to go higher.
Right.
So take that Shabbos to the next level.
Yes, and sometimes it could even be attitude. Am I doing the mitzvah with simcha? My husband just shared. He was bringing a point, and he said, I don't remember who said this, but basically, when our grandparents came to America, there are people that came to America when they came to America, and they were keeping Shabbos. And if you kept Shabbos when you came to America in those years, then you were fired on Friday. If you didn't come to work on Shabbos, you were fired, and then you needed a new job. Some people came home on Friday, and they said, "Oy, it's so hard to be a Yid. I'm fired again from my job." And some people came home and said, "I'm so special to be a Yid. It's so special to have Mesiras Nefesh, to even though I lost my job, that Hashem comes first, and I love you, Hashem, and I trust in you that you'll provide for my family somehow." So those people that had simcha and said it's geschmack to be a Yid, their children continued the path. And those that said, "Oh, it's so hard to be a Yid," their children said, "I don't want this. If it's so difficult, why should I continue this lifestyle? Let me find something else." So I'm saying, when it comes to Shabbos, or it comes to, am I making Shabbos? As the mother, am I making Shabbos special? Is Shabbos the best day of the week for my children? Do my children love Shabbos because I love Shabbos? So there's always room for growth in everything. Whether it be, there's a million examples, but even our attitude and how we do it, not just to do it, but how we do it. It makes makes the world of a difference. Okay, so what were we saying? Okay, so basically what we're saying is that this Benoni who is not serving, what motivates him to do a mitzvah? He doesn't have to go to the contemplation piece, to the contemplation tool, because he doesn't have to go there. He's not motivated to go there. He doesn't need it. He just relies on this hidden love that we all have, and it's pretty close to the surface for him, and that's what he uses. For the rest of us, this hidden love, sometimes it's more deeply hidden, and we all have a love for Hashem. But the question is it active right now? So we could all have emotions. We all have emotions, but not always is every emotion active and revealed at every minute. For example, of a person has a baby or experiences a birth, their love for Hashem, their hidden natural love for Hashem comes up. Wow, Hashem, what a miracle. If a person's living in Israel and a bomb falls and into an empty building, wow, Hashem, that's amazing. No one got hurt. Wow. So that love for Hashem is revealed. But sometimes, believe it or not, the love for Hashem is revealed and triggered by something that's not so happy. Sometimes you have October 7th. October 7th, you would think everyone should be angry at Hashem. And what happened? What happened? Even the hostages themselves that came out, what are they saying? Baruch Hashem. And they found a deep connection to Hashem in the tunnels, in the struggle, in the pain, in the horrific conditions. So sometimes it's something that's not that's negative that brings out the hidden love. And the same is with a marriage. Your person could be married for many, many years, and they're so busy with the day-to-day that they don't take the time to say, I love you, or to give gifts or whatever it is. But then something happens. Maybe there's a health situation. And all of a sudden the person says, oh my goodness, I realize how much I love you, how much I need you. I can never live without you. We have to do everything to help you get better because, the love was always there. The love was always there, but sometimes it's a little bit hidden. It's a little bit covered up, and something happens and triggers and says, "Oh my gosh," and that love wakes up. So the tzaddik for him, he just taps into the hidden love. Again, he doesn't get any credit for it because it's just natural. He didn't do anything to achieve it. We're all born with it, and that's how he manages to always do the right thing, say the right thing, think the right thing. Okay. Okay.
That's a tzaddik?
No, that's the Benoni who is not serving. He's not serving. What does it say? Eladai, it's enough for him. Be'ava mesuteres asher belev klalos Yisrael. It's enough for him to tap into the love, that's the hidden love that exists in every single Jew. Shenikru ayhavei shemai, because the Jewish people are called the lovers of his name, which is the lovers of Hashem. V'lachin, and therefore, einay nikra eved klal, he is not considered serving at all. Why? Ki ava zay hamisuteres, because this hidden love, eina pi'ulasai, it's not his achievement. V'avaydasai, it's not his work klal at all. Ella, but he Yerushasenu, it is our inheritance, me'avesenu, from our forefathers, l'klal Yisrael, for every single Jew, ukmaishi yisbar l'kaman, as will be explained in the future chapters. And now inside we're discussing the second type of person who is considered to be not serving. This is someone who he wasn't born that in a way that it's natural for him to just be a goody and not have temptations. But this is a person who worked on himself very, very, very hard. And now it became his second nature, and now he's considered not working because now it's already his second nature. For example, you could feel really bad. There are people that whether they're in the Olympics or something like that, and at 25 they reach their peak, and they could become they're the best swimmer, the best basketball player, and they reach the top, and everyone knows this is the best swimmer, this is the best basketball player. The danger is the second the person realizes, I'm the best basketball player, now I could stop. I could stop working. I'm the best. Problem is, the second you stop working, there's always movement. If you're not going up, you're flying down. You're falling down. Flying down doesn't make sense. If you're not going up, you're falling down. Life is like is like going up a down escalator. You have to always keep climbing. The second you're satisfied, the second you're satisfied, that is the biggest danger. And there have been many companies. You want to say something, Tanya?
Yeah, so how do you stay motivated when you know when you reach the pinnacle of whatever it is that you want to accomplish? Oh, great. Next problem. Now I
That's
have to go up another
a
step.
great question. And basically, what hopefully we're gonna get to is that what is more difficult? To take the first step, let's say you're opening a business, to take the first step, or to take the first step after you reached success.
Towards a second.
To take the first step after you reach success, you made it. You made it. Your company is booming. And now to take another step and to start another company, the exponential growth of that is equal to everything that you did before. One step, one extra step beyond your comfort zone is more valuable than everything else. That's what we're going to learn. And when you know that one extra step, the exponential growth of that should motivate you to take that extra step. And that's a whole lesson, which we'll see what we'll be able to get to this time, but that's where we're headed.
So the comfort for you is in the back of your mind is that, look how much you did already. Don't worry, let's keep going now. Take the successes of your past as your base to help you go further. And of course, the goal, and remember your goal before you always to love Kadosh Baruch Hu and cherish him and have a closeness with him.
Yeah. But it's a complete, it's a game changer. The going beyond the comfort zone, taking that extra step after you achieve success, that step is a complete and total game changer. It's completely different than everything that you've done before, and the what you're going to get for it is beyond. You think it's only a little bit more. It's one more step. But we're going to learn the value of the one extra step after your comfort zone. That's what we're going to learn. With the greatness of it. We can't even imagine the greatness of the extra step beyond what's natural for you. Okay. Let me just see where I'm up to over here. Oh, so I just want to follow along with the Tanya. We're talking about the second type of Benoni who is not serving. Oh, so we were talking about the athlete, whatever it is, that now you're a spiritual have been. I have been. I was struggling. I was serving. Now I'm there. And there's a danger. There's a danger of once I got there, okay, now I could take a break, and that's when the things can slide. For example, Kodak. No one even knows about Kodak today, our kids. You know, the company that, you know, the film and the cameras and everything like that. They were at the top of their game. BlackBerry, so many companies that they achieved the greatest success. They were there. But unless you're constantly growing and being relevant with the times and moving, you're gonna be a have been. I was successful. I was that it's in the past. I got the gold trophy. It's in the past. Now it's just nostalgic. And now I'm just I'm not serving. And it's what is it?
He killed himself.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Because he said I accomplished everything.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting example that you're bringing up. I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
now it's
Yeah,
not.
but sounds so
road stop,
typical of a
then
guy.
my husband, you know.
Wow.
Which does film, you really could have done something else, you know?
If you do something else.
Look it up and maybe 100% for sure, you know, but pretty sure that's fact.
There's an organization in Crown Heights. It's called GEM, Jewish Educational Media, and what they do is that they produce videos of the Rebbe. So the videos were on VHS. And what they did was they transferred everything from VHS to DVDs. And then then they had DVDs, but before the times when everyone was still into DVDs, they were already, making apps and always all of the gems stuff, all of the footage of the Rebbe, dollars and pictures and like that. They are constantly being with the times, because if the videos, if no one transferred the VHS to DVDs, and if no one made the DVDs available, that the Rebbe videos should be on social media and on whatever else and on the apps, then it would be gone. It would be lost. So and I remember thinking to myself, why are they already making apps? Like, who needs it? Everyone could just watch the DVDs later. But now you can't even find a DVD player. So I'm saying you have to constantly be on the game to see where the world is headed and to get there first, or to get there at the same time. Not, so it's you constantly have to be working and being relevant when it comes to social media. The second you take a break, the second you're not relevant, you're finished. You're nothing.
Somebody was talking about your website.
I was just.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're not current, what are you providing for the community at this very moment? If you're not relevant, then no one's going to look at you. 100%. You have to constantly, Project Likutei Sichos, this project that my husband's involved in. So they have a website and they have an app. And now what they recently started doing for the past few months is they have a podcast. My husband and the two other people that founded the project, every single week they have a podcast and they discuss the teaching of that week, which is a new thing. You constantly have to be on your game, and if you do something, you have to always upgrade. You have to always upgrade. You can't be satisfied with what you were doing, the programs you were using, and the stuff that you're doing 5 years ago. You have to pick it up a notch. Otherwise, you're irrelevant, and no one's gonna, with all the stuff that's out there. There's no chance. So that's what we're saying. So here you have example, v'chein, af mi she'enai masin b'limuda. You have a person who has ADHD. It's not easy for him to sit and learn. But what did he do? He is not inherently studious. He's not a masmid. Masmid comes from the word tamid, which means always. He's not a person that naturally always has an inclination, I want to learn Torah, I love to learn Torah, it's no effort for me. He's not a masmid in his learning. B'tivai, naturally, rak. But shehir gil atzmai, he accustomed himself, lilmaid ba'asmada, to study diligently. Lilmaid ba'asmada g'dayla, to study diligently in a very great way. V'nasa, and it became hahergel loy tevasheni, and it became second nature to him. So now that it's second nature to him, now it's enough for him to tap into the hidden love. In order to do the right thing. But if he wants to still be serving, what does he have to do? Ella im kain, unless if he's willing and desires to learn more than it's natural for him. Meaning that either he'll put in more time or he'll learn Torah on a deeper level. Until now he was only learning, Chumash and Rashi. Now he's learning Chumash, Rashi, and the Rambam. So to learn in a deeper way, and only if you're doing more than what you're used to, are you considered to be serving. And with everything that we said above, we'll be able to understand. The Gemara finally answers the question. The question is, we have to understand what is the difference between one who is serving and one who is not serving. And the Gemara answers the question. What does the Gemara say? The Oived Elikim, who is a serving, Hainu mi sheshayna pirkai meya pa'amin ve'achad. For an example, if you want to be serving is someone who learns something 101 times. V'layavadai, you want to know an example of someone who is not serving? Someone who only learns 100 times is considered to be not serving. Could you imagine that? If you learn 100 times, you're not serving. You learn 101 times, now you're serving. Why? Because you went beyond what's natural to you. In the times of the Mishnah, as you're saying, before the times of the Mishnah, the oral Torah was passed down. It was called Teresh B'chsav, the written Torah, the 5 books that are written down. Teresh B'chsav, the 24 books that are written, and then there's something called Teresh Bal Peh, the oral teachings, and those were transmitted from father to son orally. They were not permitted to write it down. So what did they have to do in order to remember it? They had to learn each thing 100 times. The norm was to learn everything 100 times. So if you learned 100 times, then you were average. Even though today, how many times do we relearn something? If you have a test, when you're a kid in school, your kids, or when you're studying for a test, how many times could you review something? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 20 times. Who no one reviews 100 times? I said our entire life. A person lives on this earth 100 years. Every year we learn the part. Every year we read the Torah portion of the week. So if I live 100 years, I only review the Chumash 100 times. Right? If I start when I'm born, right? So the concept of learning something 100 times is something that's unheard of. No one's reviewing anything 100 times. But in those days, they learned everything 100 times. That was normal. That was average. So for today, the 101 step, and it said, okay, so here, this is so incredible. Okay. Okay, let's continue. V'hainu, this is because mishum shebimehem haya regilas lishna is called parak mea pa'amim. Because in those days, in the days of the Talmud, it was customary to review each lesson 100 times. K'de'isa hasam bigmara, as the Gemara gives an example to illustrate this. Mashal, an example, mishuk shel chamarim, the market of the donkey drivers. Before they had taxi services, they had a donkey service. Sheniskarim le'eser parsei bezuza. The regular thing is, I could rent the donkey to go 10 Persian miles. What does it cost? 1 zuz. But ula achad asar parsei, if you want to go 11 miles, 1 more mile, just 10% more. Bisrei zuze, now you have to pay 2 zuz. You're going just 10% more distance, but you're paying 100% more. One more mile, and the price doubles. Why? Because you made the donkey go more than what it's used to. You broke the mold. A donkey goes 10 miles. That's it. That's the normal distance for a donkey to go. You want to go more than that? Now you have to pay double. And that's the same. One second. Here, now this is the most amazing thing. The lachain, and therefore, Zais hapam hamea va'achas, the 101st time, hayesera ala regilus, which is greater than what you're used to, going out of your comfort zone. Shehurgel min urav, that you're used to from your youth. Shkula, it is equal. Keneged kulan, it is equal to the previous 100 combined. Okay, with that, we're going to stop inside. What is it? Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. V'oila gabein, in fact, its quality surpasses them. V'yeser seis v'yeser ois, in greater strength and power. Liyos nikra oived elikim. So that it is only this one extra revision which entitles the student to be called he who serves Hashem. Okay, we could go on forever. Okay, let's just stop here, even though it's probably connected. But thank you, that was a very important thing. The 101st time is equal. It's even more than equal, even greater, as it says here. Its quality surpasses them in greater strength and power. That one the 101st time, the one extra step that's equal to the 100 before. Why? Why? Because you went beyond your comfort zone. And now it's not about you anymore. Why did you learn 100 times? For your sake. So you should retain the information. So you should be able to pass it on to your children. So you should know it. This is what everyone's doing. Why would you learn 101st time? You know it. You know it. It's part of you. It's in your kishkis. You know it. Why would I learn 101st time? For Hashem. For Hashem. Therefore, it's a complete, it's equal to everything before. And the value. And it's so hard to learn the 101st time because I don't need it anymore. It's not for me. But that is where the love and that's where it's called serving. That is where the serving is expressed in the 101st time. One more example, and then we're going to stop. Imagine. You have to imagine. Okay, a couple, they're getting married. So the chassan, he goes to chassan classes, and the teacher tells him, you should buy flowers for your wife every Friday. So every Friday, at the same time, he goes to the flower shop and he buys flowers for his wife. And he's so amazing and smart that he doesn't buy the same flowers every week. He changes it up. Every week he comes in with a different bouquet of flowers. Wonderful. But after 20 years or 40 years, the wife asks, do you love me? However, if 1 week the husband came home, he spent the same amount of money, but this time he bought chocolate. What happens? The wife is ecstatic. Why? When you bought the flowers, you were doing it because you have to be the good husband. It was all about him. He has to provide. He has to, bring the flowers. This is what he was told to do, and this is what he does. You bought the chocolate. Now you're not thinking about yourself. Now you're thinking about your wife. And that box of chocolate, you went out of what you're used to. You're used to buying flowers, and now you thought about her. You didn't think about yourself. One extra little bit. That is worth more than all the flowers. One box of chocolate could be worth more than all the flowers. Why? Because now you thought about what she likes. You didn't just do your duty. So I could be doing the right thing, perfect in thought, speech, and action. I'm doing the right thing, thinking the right thing. I'm saying everything right, but it's all, I'm doing the right thing, but I'm still not serving. I'm still not serving because I didn't put in the effort. I didn't go beyond my nature. I didn't go beyond myself. So when you have a business and you reach the top and you're successful and everyone's talking about you and you're in the headlines of the newspaper, don't stop. Take the next step. And when I take the next step, there's going to be 100 more steps and 101 steps. We're always, always, always looking to be serving, never to be satisfied, and to constantly be serving Hashem, because now it's about Hashem. It's not about me, it's about Hashem. Okay.
Just as we think, the Kaddish.
Yeah.
One created.
One is Hashem is the creator, and we're the creation. One is that I understand that Hashem is greater than what I understand. And the third one is I understand that there's so much that I don't understand. Hashem is so great that I don't even understand what I don't understand about him.
So when I'm doing whatever it's about me. Let's say I get used to doing something and it becomes easy for me, then now it's about me, it's not about Hashem.
I love Shabbos. As soon as you get to the point that I love Shabbos, it's natural for me. Either it's natural or it's my second nature. It's time to do something else.
So to add on to Thomas.
Yeah. Or to do it with simcha.
I agree. I love the Rebbe's. The Rebbe's biggest thing was simcha. This strong
Yes.
of the Rebbe's.
Yes, 100%. It makes all the difference.
Yeah, and even though he didn't have his own children,
We're his children. We're his
Right,
children.
right, but I'm just saying that he
Yeah.
had such simple. And he can encourage people to be simple.
100%, 100%.
Continue your story about the Shmira Shabbos. There's a shul in Borough Park called Shomer Shabbos.
Yeah.
It's an extremely vibrant and active shul. There's another shul in Borough Park called Svargish Shul. They're like 10 blocks away from each other. Svargish was a big shul, a lot of youth following. And there was so there was a tufa that people came to that shul and then they went to work. They had no, they felt they had no choice. And there were people that were very strong about Shmira Shabbos. They didn't want those people to get an aliyah. They didn't want to daven together with them, so they broke away. And that is how Shomer Shabbos was started. That shul is today more vibrant than the other shul. And those families were like the Rosengarten Shane families that came to America before. And Ad Hayom Hazeh, like the greatest Talmidei Chachamim came out of these, this, I don't want to call them simple, but like they were firm in what they believed. It wasn't enough that they were Shomer Shabbos. They didn't even want to daven together with them just to be careful. And when you see these two shuls, like you could pass by Shomer Shabbos any time of day or night. There is every walks of life, every colorful couple, I find a minion there today.
Wow.
So it's just, part of what you're saying, that those that felt that Shabbos was beautiful and Shabbos, this is, I think it's a Zayin Ayid,
Yeah,
no matter.
yeah. That's how we pass on to our children when we show them how beautiful and Yiddishkeit is. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Suri, for joining us.
Oh, sorry.
Soon the summer's almost over, right?
I don't want to think about summer being over, even though we miss summer.
Yeah.
One of the very first.